We turn now to our special News Hour coverage from Florida and to Judy Woodruff.
Thanks, Amna. The state of Florida is proving yet again to be a battleground in this year's midterm elections. From a contentious race for governor to a neck-and-neck Senate contest, key races up and down the ballot could decide control of Congress and be an indicator for political contests to come. We begin our special coverage with a look at some of those important campaigns.
Higher taxes for you and more benefits for him. I don't think so.
We can do good by rowing together, y'all.
The Florida governor's race pits a self-styled conservative warrior against a progressive. Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum is vying to be the state's first Democratic governor since 1992 and its first ever black chief executive. He's also a fierce critic of President Trump.
He's going to be your next governor, Ron DeSantis.
By contrast, former Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis has fully embraced the president,
Make America great again,
who won Florida by a razor-thin margin in 2016.
I appreciate your support, Mr. President, but I appreciate more the leadership you're showing for our great country.
The contest has been rife with allegations of racism. Just after winning the Republican nomination, DeSantis said this about Gillum.
The last thing we need to do is to monkey this up by trying to embrace a socialist agenda.
Racist robocalls also targeted Gillum. DeSantis denounced the calls, but when I caught up with Gillum at a weekend rally at a Tampa community center, he said DeSantis had stoked racial tensions.
I think certainly used racial stereotypes in his campaigning, all to make me look out of touch, so different than everybody else. I think he sorely underestimates the voters by going so hard after superficial differences, when what voters want to hear about is what we're going to do.
Meanwhile, Gillum is facing a corruption probe into unreported gifts from lobbyists, including a trip to Costa Rica and tickets to the Broadway show Hamilton.
I don't take free trips from anybody.
Gillum has denied the charges, but subpoenaed text messages suggest he knowingly accepted the show tickets from an FBI agent posing as a real estate developer. DeSantis calls it another example of local corruption.
Andrew's the one who lied to the people of Florida on Sunday night about accepting a gift from an undercover FBI agent. He's the one who lied.
The governorship is up for grabs because Republican incumbent Rick Scott is term limited. He is moving on to challenge three-term Democratic U.S. Senator Bill Nelson for his seat.
He's been there when his party controlled both chambers in the White House. They did nothing.
The two have sparred on immigration, gun violence, especially after the Parkland, Florida school shooting, and health care. Polls indicate a majority of Floridians favor Medicaid expansion and that they are more likely to vote for a candidate who will maintain the Affordable Care Act's protections for people with pre-existing conditions.
Florida has more on the ACA than anybody else, almost 2 million people that now have health care that never had health care before. And for the 7 years of the law, my opponent has wanted to kill it, to repeal it.
Nelson has blasted Scott for opposing Medicaid expansion and Obamacare. The state is also suing to overturn federal protections for those with pre-existing conditions. Scott says he didn't have anything to do with the suit.
I support forcing insurance companies to cover pre-existing conditions.
In a new ad, he says he now favors coverage of pre-existing conditions, and DeSantis has recently pledged to do the same. The Florida ballot also features close races in at least 5 congressional districts held by Republicans and for the Republican-controlled state Senate. Also driving voters to the polls, a state constitutional amendment to restore voting rights to 1.5 million former felons.